Alright, here we go again. If you are new to the channel, the 3 simple rules are no blah blah intro, no pausing, some yada yada at the end. That's it. We have the Ricky Gervais show on not XFM, not BBC Radio, NME, I don't know what that is, I gotta be honest. It just says NME test broadcast. I don't know. Anyway, Lego.
Hello.
Oh.
Testing. This is a special transmission. A special one-off show. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello there.
And the little bald mank twat that is the shaven monkey known as Karlpilkington.
Right. Now, Rick,
Right.
just a quick question, because if people have just stumbled across this, perhaps on the internet or on their TV channel, they're probably going to be a little bit alarmed by what you've said there. You've come straight in with little bald mank twat, and a lot of people don't know who that little bald mank twat is, so maybe you should clarify.
Well, I'm Ricky Gervais. You probably know me from such shows as The Office and Extras, cameos in the odd film. My long-term partner, not in that way, Stephen Merchant.
Not in that way. Stephen Merchant, yes, I was involved in some of those projects, but I've not been in a film.
And
Later.
we met Karl when we went back to XFM as Conquering Heroes. We were let go when XFM changed hands, and then we did The Office, and then we came back, and we were big shots. No longer did we need to run the desk or press any buttons, so we were assigned, how can I put this, like a stupid lackey.
Yes, yes. Proper... I mean, probably the person who was lowest on the rung.
I'd have thought
at the radio
so.
Station.
They said, "Oh, give it to me. No one wants to work
The
Saturdays."
caretaker didn't work Saturdays, so they gave us Karl.
And we met Karl, and I was first struck by the roundness of his head, I'll be honest. I thought, this is a bald man, a little round-headed, bald freak of a man. He opened his mouth, he spoke funny. Actually, he spoke without opening his mouth. That was the second thing that struck me. He just had this slack-jawed gimpness about him. Words came out.
I think they get the idea now, anyway.
Do you feel that was a balanced explanation of your meeting with us, or would you like to offer any extra detail there, Karl?
Well, with every meeting, there's a different story, isn't there? The way you sort of looked at me and thought, he's weird. I saw Steve. It was like a triangle. Ricky was looking at me, I was looking at you, thinking that's weird.
It
And
seems
yeah, that's
a
where it
little
all began.
unjust that I'm the... why don't you have any go at Ricky for being fat and
Just because...
old?
No, I'm just saying on the first meeting,
Right.
it's like a museum, isn't it? Everybody rushes to the weird stuff first.
I love the fact that you're putting yourself firmly in that category as well, though.
That's true.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Like someone from Reservoir Dogs. Everyone looking at someone else.
But you don't feel that way about me anymore.
No, I've got used to it now. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
I'm saying you that whatever your accusations of weirdness were, they were unfounded.
It moves on, doesn't it? It's like anything, you get used to a look, don't you? I watch a lot of programmes on stuff that people have up with them, and
You only watch programmes about people that got something wrong with them. That is what you do. If ever you say, "Do you see that thing last night?" It's going to be something
That's an
like
interesting point. Yeah,
the
that's
kid
true.
who was born with too many legs,
Yeah.
or the baby with an arse for a head. It's
Yeah.
always going to be stuff like that.
it's like there was a programme on a bit back about a fella who had a funny head and what have you, and he lived in a small village, and nobody double taked anymore because you get used to it, don't you?
What was up with his head?
Just had like it was sort of like the new Elephant Man. He'd sort of had gone for that look.
He's
God,
gone for that.
look, he chose
Well,
it.
what does he do in the morning? Just eat a bun, sort of
No,
shave.
it's just that's all I'm saying is people in his village. You want a big village. People were used to it, and they no longer stared. And that's what I'm saying with you.
But it's interesting that because you say you've acclimatised to my so-called weirdness. I don't know what weirdness that is. I've still not grasped that. But Ricky continues to... What?
It's just the eyes.
He's listening.
Why are you listening? So I've not had a go at you and you stupid f***ing round head like a f***ing orange. Which is the thing which perpetually entertains Ricky. Ricky is never acclimatised to you. Is that fair, Rick?
Yeah, I love it. I can't get enough of him because I see different things every time I look at Karl. Sometimes I see like a completely sort of like spherical object, right? Like honestly, like some sort of pumpkin on Halloween, and then I see him. I see flat, straight
With
on.
a pumpkin, Rick,
Right.
with a jack-o'-lantern outside someone's house, right? There is a certain light behind the eyes. Not with Karl.
And then sometimes he looks like a plate. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like a clay plate that a child has made.
When they've made a face on the plate using their food.
Or a biscuit. Like one of those biscuits, novelty biscuits you can buy
Sure,
at your
you
birthday.
can ice with a little smile and some ice.
Yeah. But that's not the I think that's not the biggest thing. Karl, it isn't his physicality, it isn't it the roundness of his head, it isn't the gimpness of his slack-jawed
It's his mind.
face. It's not even his hairy body and sort of like chimp-like gait. It is.
Although those are all key features.
These are all key features,
Yeah.
but it's his incredible mind. And I think maybe over the next 2 hours or so, if you haven't heard of Karl, then I think you're in retreat. If you have heard of Karl, then you're already being treated, I think, by the fact that he is present on this special broadcast.
Rick, can I suggest that we take a pause there, play some music, come back and we'll talk some more?
Oh, this isn't just about Karl. We're playing some great tunes.
Okay. I mean, it's not XFM. Okay. I guess it's still radio.
Arctic Monkeys, Fluorescent Adolescent. Talking of monkeys, we're here with Karl Pilkington. I say we.
non-stop.
I'm Ricky Gervais. With me, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
Doing a special one-off broadcast. Now, it's special in the sense that I don't know why it's special. I started that sentence. I had no, I had no backup. It's not particularly special. We've done this thousands of times. Well, it's special in the sense.
You got the old team back together.
Exactly. It's special in the sense that it is a one-off.
Yeah.
That's why it's a special one-off. It's special in the sense that it is a one-off.
I know it's special for me because I'm giving up about 3 or 4 hours of my time for no money and no personal gain. So
Well,
it's a special treat
you
for
say
me in
that.
respect.
Now, Sammy Jacob, right, is the guy that founded XFM and gave me and Steve our break
Yeah.
in entertainment or whatever, comedy. I remember also on the second day, he said, when are you two going to do some work before I fire?
Yes.
Which was...
and
yeah.
I vowed that no one would ever say that again.
Yeah.
And,
So he called me out of the blue and said, you know, we're launching NME Radio. I thought that's a good project. You know,
okay.
I'm a fan of the genre. Right, will you do a special show? Right, I called Steve. Steve went, well, I called Karl and he went, definitely not. And so I had to persuade these two miserable bastards to do this show. Karl, why didn't you want to do this? As a favour, I said to Karl, let's do it. Let's do one. There was 2 reasons I wanted to do this. One, we'd stop the podcast. Yeah. Karl, we charged for the podcast because you'd left work, and you know we did very, very well with that. And I thought I want to give something back to the fans. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, right?
So they did the podcast.
2, I want to do Sammy a favour. Why not? Okay,
Well, that's fair. That's your
Yeah.
opinion.
yeah, but you yes.
But what you can't do when you're doing someone a favour, you can't go, yeah, Steve and Karl feel the same about it. Yeah, of course I'll
agree.
do it, Sammy.
Well,
Of course
I
Karl will
agree.
do you a
I
favour, the
agree.
man you've never met and you've never done a favour for yourself.
Well-
Of course he'll do it.
Well, hold
I
on.
agree.
Steve
He's
didn't want to
got a
do it
point.
either. He was busy. He works on 6 Music, so he was worried about that. He shouldn't
well,
really be doing
I shouldn't
it.
really be doing this. And I'll tell you this, if you do love great new music and lively chat, then 6 Music Sunday afternoons is a great place to be with the Steve Merchant Show.
I agree. There's enough for everyone to go round. Enjoy that. Enjoy this.
Steve Merchant
But
has his own
Steve
show.
does it a
The
favour
Steve
to me.
Merchant Show.
I said, Steve, all right, mate. You've done me enough favours.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Okay. You didn't fall for that. I said, as a favour to me. No, he didn't. I even started an internet campaign to put in the poster up saying, Karl, do some work, you little
Yeah.
lazy bastard. After a month, he was begging me to stop it.
I
he
wasn't
was
begging you, it was just a bit stupid.
You were really annoyed.
Yeah. I
What
was
I like
annoyed.
though, it's interesting because you're a busy man, Rick,
Yeah.
and I know you've been heavily involved with lots of projects. How you found time, because you don't like writing and doing any form of administration
No.
at any time. How you found time to write a daily blog is quite remarkable.
Well, I knew it was irritating him.
Right.
It was. It captured the imagination of people all over the world. I wanted him to do this podcast, and here we are. What changed your mind, Karl?
Well, you kept going on about it,
Yeah,
and then I thought,
you saw friendship. Friendship was an important thing.
yeah, a little bit of that.
Now I've got to tell Steve something on air that Steve doesn't know about. Me and Steve are doing this for free as a favour. I'm doing it as a favour to Sammy. Steve's doing it as a favour for me. That's what friends are for.
And
Karl's
Karl?
negotiated himself some money.
Of course he did.
well,
Good on
it's-
him.
Who the hell have you negotiated money
Good on
from?
him.
With
Good on
Sammy,
him.
I didn't know him. I owe this man
would
nothing.
cover this.
We're
I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything for free. I've got bills to pay. We've all got bills to pay.
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
You've got other work that brings you money in.
Let me just stop because
Sick of it.
wait though, because this is interesting. Because as you say, Rick, you're doing this as a favour to Sammy. He gave you your big break. Now, Rick, you gave me my big break,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know Sammy. Ricky gave me a break. I'm doing this as a favour to Ricky.
Oh, hold on.
Who the hell gave Karl Pilkington a big break? Who? There's one man in this room who wouldn't even have an agent, wouldn't even have a need for an agent if it weren't for Mr. Ricky Gervais. But hang on a minute, it's not me. 'Cause
Nice one, Steve.
I'm already thanking you, Rick. By
Nice
doing
one,
this
Steve.
free show. So hang on a
You
minute.
miserable, ungrateful little mank twat.
Carl never
Yeah, it's
asked.
I hope you feel
Carl
really
never asked
bad.
to be given all this.
Me and Steve are doing it at the kindness
No.
of my heart.
Yeah,
No.
free.
You're money grabbing again. That also on the internet. How mean he is.
I'm not
How,
mean.
You are mean,
No,
Carl.
no,
Because
no,
you know
he's
we
right.
did those paid podcasts.
He
All I wanted to
didn't
do was some
ask
free ones.
for you to
wouldn't
make
do
him
it
famous.
because
We've
not.
done it now. I'm just saying you've got to get to a point when you go, I enjoyed that. Yeah, the podcasts were all right. Cut them off. You don't keep the story going. With
But
the
I-
Bible, they didn't go, let's do another volume. People seem to like this story.
Yes, they did.
What?
The
The New Testament.
The New Testament.
The Old Testament was a
Yeah, all
massive
right, they did
success.
it once then. They did like a special for the fans. But all I'm saying is,
One sequel.
but they didn't keep going on. And we did 3 lots of the podcast.
Yeah.
That's more than enough for anyone.
But I just wanted to give the people on the internet
Yeah.
something back.
Yeah, well, we've given them enough. Sick
Well,
of the people on the internet always moaning.
Why? Who am I?
Just moan.
Who do?
People do. Sick of it. Calling me Graham. They said I'm not even real. They said he's an actor. He's called Graham. That annoyed me. That's the thing that annoyed me the most. Graham. Of all the names. It's just that if I'm not me, what am I? That's the thing that annoyed me most. If I am,
Not me, what am I?
Well, it would annoy me if someone was accusing me of something. 'Cause, I mean, that's the thing. No, it annoyed you because they were stating a falsehood.
yeah, that's what annoys me. That's what.
And
did
the
me
name
in.
Graham.
Let's
apparently.
play a record. We'll be back with Carl after this.
Nicely done. No. Carl is on the right. No. I'm not budging on this. You should be paid for this. No.
Richard Ashcroft. Check the meaning. He's from your neck of the woods, isn't he?
Wigan.
Yeah, we were just discussing
The fact how miserable and mean Carl is. He won't do anyone a favour. He
Do
takes
favours. I shifted your telly.
Oh, hold on. He shifted my telly. I gave him a television.
Shifted
I
his
gave
telly.
him a bed. He went, I shifted your bed. No, I gave you a bed.
He balanced
how
a
he
juicy
couches
pear
things.
on your
I
hand.
cashed that bloody cheque
Come
you
on.
wrote to me.
Unbelievable.
Who's the last person you did a favour for where you weren't expecting something in return?
I'm always treating people. I've told you, if I have a good day, at the end of it, I'll go, do you know what? I'll treat them. And
Treat who?
It might be a homeless fella. It might be some charity. I'm sick, honestly, the amount of money I give away
It
to
might be
stuff,
it might
I
be a
don't like chatting about
girlfriend
it.
who got a lovely new camera for Christmas, still wrapped up from when it was given to you as a leaving present.
So,
Back
All
to
this
that,
stuff
man.
about you're doing so much for charity. You honestly tell me you think you're walking along, you're whistling. Oh, I've had a great day, me. Hey, you never have a great day.
No, I've never seen you have a great day. It doesn't
That's
matter
interesting,
what.
yeah. You never
It's
said I had a great
unbelievable.
day.
You're whinging all the time, miserable. Nothing impresses you, nothing at all. The best I've ever heard you was I was alright at that.
Well, tell us about the last time you had a great day. What was the last great day you had where you thought, oh, I must end this by giving some money to a homeless fella?
I mean, yeah, I don't have a great day. but what I mean is, a day when I go, do you know what? I'm quite content.
That's amazing.
It's a long way from a good day.
That is the
Quite
equivalent of him
content
skipping
day.
along.
No, every night
Quite
before I nod
content
off,
day.
I lie there and I
Yeah.
think, what sort of a day have I had? And I'll go through
Quite
it and I'll go, yeah,
content.
that was all right.
How boring is that?
No, it's
boring.
good. You've got to do that. Otherwise, what was the point of the day? If you're
So-
never going to look back on it and go, what have I done? Yeah, that was all right. What's the point of it happening?
But how often do you go, wow, I've really achieved a lot today?
Never.
Because I remember
that.
one day at random, you told us you'd been to the cobblers and back.
I didn't even know cobblers still existed.
Yeah, that was a 24-hour period we were talking about there. You kept a diary. It mainly consisted of had a chip butty in a cafe with Suzanne, and then you talk about an old woman you saw.
No,
that was your day.
I've made it a thing that I do now that I like to learn something
Go on
every
then.
day, and then
Go on, then, what have you learnt today?
well, I haven't done anything yet.
Brilliant.
But what I'm saying
what
is,
did you learn yesterday?
I've
I'll-
learned you're not a generous man. You're a mean,
Yeah.
you're a mean bastard. You don't repay.
And that's coming from Steve Merchant.
I'm just saying, as long as I always think if you've learnt something,
Yeah.
then the day's not been wasted.
What have you
Someone-
learnt
someone
yesterday?
famous
What have
said
you
that.
learnt yesterday?
Yeah, he learns one thing every day.
It was the
And he
what's it?
forgets
Something
it.
you told me about the monkey arm.
Right, yeah.
Monkey arm.
There's scientists have done the first brain robot interface. They've put like 100 electrodes
robotic.
on the part of the cortex that is for your motor system, and they put it on a monkey's brain, and through the power of thought, he learned how to use a robot arm.
Wow.
So just by thought, just like you do your own arm,
Yep.
you know, and it took him a few days, not years. In a few days, this monkey was making this robot arm pick up grapes and put it in his own mouth through the power of thought. Right? Carl went. Did he have his own arms? I went. Yeah. He went. Well, he's lazy then.
Don't you think it's a bit wasted on a chimp? One, what's it doing? All they ever do is eat or chuck shit about. So why give them a decent new robotic arm?
Well, who are you going to give it to?
I just mean give it to something that is going to get more use out of it.
What, a giraffe?
No, something more. If they could link that up to a worm, I'd go, that's good.
Well, how could a worm think to use a robot arm?
Listen to me.
They can't think.
Hang on,
Yeah,
I'd
but
like
this
to
is-
know. I'd like to know how this tiny
How do you
worm...
know? How do you know? What I'm saying is, a worm's never had an arm.
You're a maniac.
I'm
Think
not
what
gonna-
you're saying. You wish a worm had an arm for a day.
No, all I'm saying is, if we're going to faff about here and get animals giving them extra arms, don't...
They
just-
weren't giving a monkey an extra arm. They were testing this theory that they could make the first computer brain interface. The thought went from the brain through a computer and made this arm work. That's incredible. The upshots are you can really have bionic arms. You could have amputees having perfectly working dexterous limbs.
And your response to that is?
I'd
Give
just
it to
say-
a worm.
I'd just say I'd be more... I'd sort of be fascinated about seeing it more. If they said, look at what the worm wants to do with an arm if it had one.
I honestly don't know how your brain works. I think we should give it to you and see what you do with the arm.
What? I'll tell you what
How
I
would a
read.
worm?
Here we go.
How could a worm have an arm, Carl? It would.
It wouldn't have an arm. The monkey didn't have an arm. It was a robot arm that they'd set up.
Right,
on
let me explain it like this. I wish they'd have picked something else. Maybe not a worm, but they always seem to do the tests on the wrong animals.
No, they do it on the closest thing to the human being they
They've done-
can.
I'll tell you what I read. You know, I say I like to learn something every
Yeah.
day and what have you.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, it was about our worm. They've given it anti-aging cream.
Right?
When have you ever seen an old worm? How do we know if it's any good? I could not tell you the age of a worm. I've seen loads of them. Give it a tortoise.
Play a record.
Bob Dylan, positively 4th Street.
I actually, Rick, was in Vietnam a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if this was thanks to your campaign, but I did pass somewhere. It was admittedly a European person, but as I passed, they went, "Oi, oi! Karlpilkington's got a head like a f***ing orange."
That's amazing.
In Vietnam.
Which is lovely to see.
And that's
I've had
in-
it all the way around the world.
That's in Vietnam.
Wow.
What are we doing in Vietnam?
You know, just heard there was a war. Went over to see if that was wrapped up. They finished that a while ago.
So you've been to Vietnam. You went
Cuba.
to
Popped down to Cambodia.
Cuba, yeah, Cambodia, Kenya. I was wondering, would you ever consider going to a holiday destination where you didn't have to have injections in the stomach to get in?
Well, you know what? I am an adventurer
Not if it
by
costs
spirit.
money, right?
I'm a sort of Indiana Jones figure, and
Yeah. Right.
plus someone was paying for it.
On top of
We
that,
did it.
oh my God.
Pardon me. We did it in high class luxury.
Did you?
There was no slum in it. I felt a bit bad because I was worried that I wouldn't see the real Vietnam. But I did. I did see the real Vietnam from the air-conditioned 4x4 that I was being driven to my 5-star hotel.
And what's it like?
It's great. It's really good. I mean, obviously, you know, the war was a long time ago, so they've got back on the, back on their uppers. I don't know what I mean by that, but anyway,
That's the other way around. If you're on your uppers, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
back on. Anyway, no, it's doing well. A lot of nice people, a lot of generous people. You know, obviously there's poverty.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things over there I think which would really intrigue you, Carl. And I think it's a great shame that you're not more adventurous as a traveller, because I think it would really open your eyes.
You're having a laugh. He has about 9 holidays a
Yeah,
year.
but he goes to the same place, doesn't he? Some rock in the Mediterranean.
Lanzarote. Yeah.
I know
There's
Vietnam's
nothing there.
I know, but I don't sort of... What I've seen of Vietnam, I had a mate who went to somewhere like that. He showed me a picture. I had a picture of him walking around with a bag of locust that had been sold, and that's to eat.
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
did actually utter the phrase at one point, "Oh, I think that gecko's repeating on me."
That's what I mean.
So, I mean, I am quite exotic. I don't mind. I tell you what I didn't do, though, and I think I would fascinated to have seen you down there. There's a place in Vietnam, just outside of Hanoi, called Snake Village. right? And it is a long, long tradition in Vietnamese culture of eating snakes. In fact, one of the tourists even said, one of the guides actually said, "We will eat anything." And they eat snakes over there, and I'm not just talking about tiny little ones. I mean proper great big mammoth snakes, sometimes even king cobras, which I think may even be endangered in some parts of the world. And anyway, in Snake Village, you go over there. I didn't go because I was just a bit too squeamish. You sit down. They bring a great big snake. You choose it like you would a lobster. They bring you that snake. They sort of give it a bit of a demonstration. Then they slit it open in front of you.
That's disgusting.
The blood dribbles into a cup, and then if you're the guest of honour, they take the still beating heart and they make you drink it from a glass.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you see,
That's disgusting.
I've never fancied that.
No.
I've never sort of thought, do you know what? I just think it's not holiday, that. It's like endurance. I don't.
I'm not suggesting that you would enjoy that. I'm saying that there are many of these interesting, exotic worlds out there. You just stay closeted in your tiny little world and whinge about everyone else. Oh, and this and that. You've got no real empathy. I mean, I went to some extraordinary places in Vietnam. There's quite a lot of floating villages. Yeah. Villages that are actually floating on the water where the fishermen
Well, he's
live.
had trouble with his boiler. There was a big leak in your flat, wasn't there?
But that's fine. Looking at stuff like that, all I'm saying is, when it comes to the point when I'm getting hungry, don't be serving me a snake's head. I'd love to see a little floating village, but why is it every restaurant you go in, they go, do you want some crispy ant, sea urchins? Some mate had one of them. He said it's sort of alive when you're eating it. You have to hit it on the head to knock it out a bit and eat it before it wakes up again. I don't want a meal where you're sort of having to do that to it. I'm not going to enjoy it thinking, is it waking up yet? I haven't finished my starter. Oh, it's rolling about a bit. Hit it on the head again.
But this shows your ignorance, Karl, because Vietnamese food is not like that at all, is it? I'm just talking about one particular exotic restaurant.
What was your last holiday? A couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a cheap one though.
Go on, where'd you go?
It was only 250 quid.
Yeah, brilliant. Go on.
Just a place in Menorca.
You don't want to waste money, do you?
Menorca.
Just,
You've been there before, haven't you?
yeah, he has, yeah.
No, I don't think I have.
You've basically been to the same places over there.
Yeah, there's not. I mean,
I remember the animated.
You're right. I mean, there was nothing there to see. It was just. Even the weather wasn't that good. But
So it was a waste of time.
I went.
No wonder it was 250 quid.
I don't know why I went.
But it's an experience.
So you and Suzanne went away for an idyllic holiday. It was £250 all in for a week, was it? Weather wasn't very good. There was nothing to see.
It was a shithole.
Right, what did you do?
I just sat outside and I was watching.
In the rain.
But you didn't even need to hire a villa then. You could have just pitched up and said, "Can I sit here?"
We had our own space, and for the first day it was all right. And then a family moved in next door from Scotland, and they were loud. And I hate it when people are loud and you can't understand what they're saying because their accents was really strong. So it's like, no, I can't even sit here and listen to what's going on. It's like really strong accent.
Brilliant.
The kid was only young, but he sounded old. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what that means.
No, I have no idea.
Just the Scottish voice. It sounds old. Even though he was a baby, he had a voice of an old man.
I don't know what that means.
That's what I'm saying. You don't go anywhere where you can embrace the change and the difference. You go to places where just some annoying people come and you move in next door.
I had paella. I mean, it depends how much you want out of life. How much, what... Yeah, like I've said to you, life's about learning.
What do you want to learn?
I'm just saying that's what life's about. If you don't learn anything, then what's the point? You might as well be a mayfly.
Right.
We've got all these years on the planet.
Yeah.
See something.
Hold on. This is what Steve's saying.
I know. But I'm saying, watch it on the telly.
There we are. There's the rub.
Oh my god, amazing. Look at the telly. Come on. Give me a break.
Rilo Kiley. Portions for foxes.
If you love good music, by the way, you should tune into Six Music on Sunday afternoons, the Steve Show.
Well, at the moment you're listening to NME Radio.
Well, yeah, but
you can listen to that on NMEradio.com or on your telly, on the internet, everywhere around the world. NME, probably along with Rolling Stone, one of the most famous, most respected music.
Well, yeah, but you can carry on reading. You can carry on reading Rolling Stone magazine after you're about 16 years of age. Have you read the NME?
Not for a while.
Now I remember the enemy. Okay,
People
now I
complaining
remember.
about the haircut
I've read that
from
online.
the Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's not a pressing concern. Move on.
That's the problem, isn't it? That's me with music. I like to sing along to a track, but
I doubt that.
I do. Well,
Go on.
No, I sort of hum.
Go on then. What's the last track you hummed along to?
What's your shower song? People supposedly have a shower song they sing in the shower. What's yours?
Oh, with my boiler being broke, it's got to be a short one.
Amazing.
How's that going?
People won't believe it. See, that's the other thing that people think, you know, I've been moaning about the boiler since, about 2006?
Yeah.
I've had it fixed loads of times.
Oh, okay.
Still the fault now. Every summer it's come round again, you know, the hot weather.
Change it.
It's not working.
Get a new
I
boiler.
can't get a new one. People keep saying get a new one. I can't get a new one because
Why?
no one will fit one in the cupboard that it's in.
What, you can't find a single boiler in the world?
No, what they said was British Gas said they can't touch it because it's dangerous.
That's good.
I got in a dodgy fella to try and sort it, and he said, "Oh, I don't want to take that one. It seems too dangerous." He said, "Have you got an alarm in here?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "It lets out gases. Make sure you have a thing because this is old boiler. I'm not messing with it."
So immediately you went out and got that seen to.
No, I've got an alarm now.
Have you?
Yeah,
What, you're
it's fine.
genuinely telling me there is no one anywhere who can take this boiler? What they got to do? They just got to blow up the house,
No,
have they?
what they said was, they said we can put one in your lounge for you because they said you've got to knock a wall down. All this, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
What do you got to knock a wall down?
They said knock a wall down to put up a new boiler, and I don't want to start knocking walls down just for the sake of hot water. It's not worth it. Put the kettle on. I can't be bothered. So yeah, it is still ongoing.
You ain't got to wash his hair, has he?
No, that's true.
So yeah,
What's his name?
I don't really have a shower song. But yeah, music's all right. I just don't want to know everything about
Music's
it. It's like,
all right.
no, it's good.
It's one of the seven wonders of the world.
I know it is. Yeah, it's good.
It's beyond. I can't describe. I couldn't try to describe how amazing music is.
Yeah, I know. It's,
Not the shit we've been playing.
No, I'm just.
But I mean,
I'm just
good
saying.
music, classical
Vaughan
music.
Williams and Beethoven.
The music affects the brain in extraordinary ways. People with, you know, sleeping sickness who are otherwise almost in a vegetative state hear music, they can suddenly can come awake, they can sometimes even dance. You know, I was watching a documentary the other night about people with, you know, Tourette's syndrome, where it affects, you know, the body in different spasms, you know, they have
Tourette's
spasms
friend
and
Darby.
twitches, but when they're drumming, all those spasms and twitches go away. Other people who've got the IQ of children, and yet they can play classical pieces, they can improvise in an extraordinary jazz way.
It does
It's a
something to
remarkable
you.
thing.
Music
It works
does
on a subconscious
something to
No,
level.
it does. Yeah, there's an Elvis song that my hairs always go up on my back every time I hear it. I don't know why. Every time I hear
Well,
it.
I know why, because
Yeah.
there's none on your head.
But you've worked in music, you've worked around music for years, and not once has it improved your IQ.
No, I like. Do you know the biggest problem, Steve? I don't want to moan.
You do.
You can't get away from noise these days, and that's the problem. I think that's.
But music's
almost got too important now. People can't think, and that's the problem with music. There's always noise. You can't get away from it, and I can't concentrate. If there's any sort of noise, I can't concentrate. My brain's going, "What's the noise?" And my ears are going, "I don't know. Go and have a look." And
I love the
guys-
fact that your brain's talking to your ears.
it's all
The
connected.
irony is, I genuinely think that conversation is going on
I
in
know,
Carl's head.
and I think the ears are slightly cleverer than his brain.
No,
Yeah.
they all kick in, don't they? I'm sat there, my brain's working.
Go
I might
on.
be writing something, I might be doing that book, I'm thinking my brain's going, right, yeah, it's working. And then a noise happens outside. My ears go, what's that? My eyes go, well, I'll have a look. Brain goes, yeah, go on then. Suddenly, they're not even thinking about the book.
They!
All of a sudden,
They!
no,
It's you!
Wow.
There's no conversation
no,
between ears
but
and
this
eyes
is
and
where it's
brains.
interesting.
He's
This is-
read the numbskulls. Do you remember that as a kid? Lots of little people inside a person's brain making it work. Herman's head for American.
Turning a wheel
Yeah.
to
I've
move
said to
it.
you,
Go on.
though, how do you know which one's in charge? Because my brain was quite happy
remember
doing
that.
that book, but my ears got bored.
Make a note of that, someone. If you're listening, make a note of that. The brain was quite happy working on the book, but my ears got
No, the way
bored.
I see it is your brain is like the adult.
The
Your
what?
The adult.
Oh,
adult.
I thought you said adult.
And
The
your
adult.
ears and your eyes are like the
His brain is
kids,
adult.
and they get bored quicker. And the brain's
Carl,
quite happy.
This doesn't work at all as a metaphor on any level. Biologically, philosophically.
Carl doesn't know
No,
what
it
a
doesn't.
metaphor
It doesn't
is.
work at all.
It does, because your brain does the thinking. Now, if I have earplugs in,
Yeah.
my brain can think better without the ears.
Yes, because there's nothing to put it off. It's
it's no
concentrated. That's a
distractions.
distraction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying to you.
Your ears are just receptacles.
Hear him out.
Yes.
Hear him
Go
out.
on.
So if your ears can't do their job, it's like a well-behaved kid. It sits there. It's quite happy. It's not interested in what's going on around it. Take the earplugs out, they go mental. What's that noise? What noise? Go and have a look. Eyes, go and have a look.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the ramblings of a maniac.
Can you tell your brain to tell your mouth to talk some sense?
Well, which order would you say it works in?
Well, it's all working at the same time, isn't it?
No, but your brain's at the beginning of the. If it was a circuit, your brain's at the beginning.
No, necessarily. Not with hearing something. Your ears come first, but they're passive. Your ears are merely receptacles for sound, right? They're a conduit to the brain. So hearing is only thought. Hearing isn't the airwaves hitting your eardrum.
You can't block it out.
No, what I'm saying is that's a passive thing. Your fingers, when it touches something, it's your brain that develops that information. Your fingers aren't going, oh, I recognise that, it's a piece of cheese. It just touches it and your brain recognises it. It's all done in the brain. No, not convinced.
That information is still being worked on by the brain.
All I can do is tell you the way I work, and I know if I'm sat in a quiet place,
no, Carl,
with nothing around me.
No, you can't tell me the way your brain works.
My ears get bored.
That makes no sense at all.
I'm telling you, if I'm in a quiet place, my brain is happier. It can focus on what it's doing. The ears almost go, there's now to hear here, call it a day. The eyes,
they don't.
My eyes are going, well, there's now to see outside. Just chill out. Whereas if there's a noise outside, if it's a noisy street, everything's kicking in. My brain's getting annoyed. My ears are going, what's that racket? My eyes are thinking, oh, what was that scream? What's happened?
What's your nose doing?
Why is your eyes thinking, what's the scream?
What?
Why are your eyes getting concerned with noise?
He wants to see what the ears have heard.
Really? Wow.
Cure, Lullaby
Incredible.
on NME Radio. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
Hello,
and Karlpilkington.
All right.
Yeah,
Now-
Professor Karlpilkington.
Straight after your holiday, you got home, and then came out to visit me in Boston on the set of my film I was doing. How was that?
Well, I didn't want to do it, did I? He called up and said, do you want to come out? And
do
I
a
thought,
favour for me. Ricky said, "Can you do a favour for me?" You thought no.
well, no, I didn't just go no. I sort of said, what is it? And he said, oh, well, you can just have a part. And he's like, what's the point though? I'm not an actor, I can't act. What's the point? It's a long way to go. So anyway, he said, all right, don't bother. Then a week later, calls back and he says, bring Suzanne with you if you want. Oh, holiday. So I thought, yeah, I could treat Suzanne to that.
I thought a little part for him. They'd probably pay 2 flights.
Yeah.
You know, she's coming out. I thought, share it with friends. I was
a generous guy.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, she'll love that. That'll get me in a good book. So I said, listen, we're going to Boston. She goes, right. Anyway, Ricky books the tickets and that. She can't get time off because we'd just been in Menorca. So they said, hang on, you've just had a week off. You can't go anywhere. So I had to go on my own.
XFM.
Right? Which, you know, fair enough. I'd said I'd go by that point. It'd all been booked. The costume that I needed for the film bit had been made. I couldn't get out of it. I was in too deep. Anyway, go there. Boston isn't worth seeing. I mean, you're talking about travelling the world and, you know, opening your eyes and seeing new things. There's nothing to see in Boston. It's Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. There's nothing else, is there? I'm not being unfair there. I mean, it looks nice. There's nice buildings.
You mean there's not a museum of the weird?
There's they had something to do with tea bags, didn't they? That I told
No, it's the Boston
hotel.
Tea Party. It wasn't nothing to do with tea bags. It was the Boston Tea Party. That one of the founding events of America.
Yeah, I know,
it wasn't something to do with tea bags.
So other than that,
It wasn't chimps. There was no chimps involved in the Boston Tea Party.
For me, I went out for a walk on 2 of the days when I wasn't having to work. And
only worked for 1 day.
well,
Got 3 days free, 4 days in a hotel, all paid for. 1 day's work. I mean, it really is ungrateful.
So anyway, Steve, I dressed up as a caveman in some old animal stuff, which you thought, well,
This was for the film, was it? This wasn't just your natural.
Yeah.
So could I just say, it was not real fur. I insisted there was no real fur.
Well, you
used.
say that.
Yeah.
I get back, right, I'm run down because I didn't sleep when I was out there. I'm not very good. If Suzanne's not in the bed, there's something, it's like I feel...
What, she's got to be there to tell you to sleep?
Well,
Close your eyes now, Carl.
It just...
Now, and our ears, stop listening.
Listen to my words. Stop, Sleep now, ears.
So anyway, so I wasn't sleeping, so I was there for 4 days or whatever. I must have had about 3 hours.
One real day's work filming, and he was shattered.
Really.
He was absolutely shattered. He was weak. He was ill for a week afterwards. I did like 35 days, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you were sleeping. If you don't sleep, it's basic sort of biology, that. If you don't sleep, you get run down. Sloths never get a flu, because it's good, isn't it? That's when your body's replenishing.
Replenishing.
Can we just go over that way? Replenishing.
What is it then?
Replemishment.
Sloths never get flu because that's when your body's replenishing.
So the thing is, I'm bound to get ill. So you know what it's like. You're always like got a cold and that.
Oh, he's dissing you. Everything's
what's
a diss.
I'm just saying because you're a bit of a sickly child, so you do
Oh, Jesus! I'm
only
going to go at the looks and then
only because I'm trying to get him on my side. So anyway, so I'm shattered. I get back, so I think it's a bit weird that this isn't shaking off. And there was some news report about how there's some serious illnesses in planes because stuff goes out the engine and into the.
Oh yeah, it's people from all over the world with all different things.
Yeah,
all breathing the
so
same
I'm thinking,
air, yeah.
oh, what have I got? You know, it's my luck, innit? So I go to the doctors.
The doctor said, "Well, you've done a whole day's work. You're not used to that. Your body's shut down.
So he said,
Bit of a holiday.
Yeah, you need. This is when your body needs replenishing." And I am a doctor, and I know replenishment is one of the best.
Replemishisation.
So,
Replemishisation is one of the best things for slows.
so I said to him, I said, look, I'm not one to moan. I hardly go to see him.
He went, "Oh, you."
I hardly see him. I hardly see this fella. So I said, look, I can't shake this cold off. I woke up the other night shaking. And he said, oh,
That's
virus. Right.
Okay.
So,
Which isn't scary at all because everything, you know.
well, there's some dodgy virus, isn't
Well,
there?
yeah, but there's some.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, of course, it's a virus.
Yeah.
What else would it? What else would it be?
I don't know. Not a doctor. So I said, oh, when's it going to go? And he said, oh, might be 2 weeks, this one. Seems like a bad one. Quite clammy, he said.
Quite clammy.
So I said, yeah, I feel a bit clammy, yeah. And he said, yeah, you will do. So anyway, so I felt happy about that, and I'm more confident with the doctor because you know you've got your vest off and all that, so you think why not just let him do a bit of a body check. So I said, doctor, whilst I'm here, I think I've got some eczema on my leg. And he goes, let's have a look. And I said, there it is there. And he said, that's not eczema. So you've got a touch of ringworm.
Oof.
Blimey.
Right? So straight away, anything with a worm in it, you're going, you know what?
Yeah.
'Cause it makes it sound worse, doesn't it? I was thinking like tapeworm and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's going, yeah, ringworm, and he saw me panic, and he went, don't worry.
You
it's not-
pictured a worm with a giant
Well,
mechanical arm crawling up
He
your back.
could see by my face was a little bit like, I've got a worm in my leg. He's going, don't worry, it's not a worm. And I said, how have I got that then? And I reckon it's from this bear suit that I had
It
to
wasn't.
wear.
It was. Well, it was
It's a
fake
little bit
fur.
weird that I had
No, it was 'cause
bare
you're in
boots
Lo-
on. I had bare boots on, and
Yeah.
where the bare boot was, I ended up with ringworm on my
Do
leg.
you know why it's where it was? Because the only bit of your leg showing, because you had bare boots on, fake fur, with a fake fur tunic, and the only bit showing was your shin. You were walking around in long grass. You got it from the grass.
Well, no, because I said to him, because I wanted to hear the words bear suit from him. I said, where
What's the chances of that?
Yeah.
I said, where...
Doctor, what might I got this from? And then you just shut up and waited for him to say
I said,
bear suit.
it's a little bit weird, isn't it? I said, I thought that died out with rickets, right? Because I'd never heard of ringworm since I was a kid. I remember some dirty kid had it at school, and my mum sort of said, don't go near him. So I said, ringworm then, doctor. Where have I got that from? Thinking he'd say...
Have you been wearing a bear suit?
Yeah. Anyway, he said, well, he says gay people get it.
What? No, he didn't.
He did.
Why did he say that to you?
Well,
out
this
of
is
the
what
blue?
he said. He said gay people. I said, right, tick that off. He said wrestlers.
Why do wrestlers get it?
And I said, I don't understand the connection. I said, I don't know, any gays. I don't know any wrestlers. And he went, well, it's the body, skin rubbing.
Well, why do only gay people get it then? Why don't heterosexual people get it?
Don't know. Didn't quiz him. But then he said, what about...
Did the doctor really say to you, gay people get it?
He might have said, like, homosexuals.
Does this doctor operate from a park bench?
Sorry,
Does he have a lot of carrier bags with him?
Why would his first thing be ringworm? Gay people get it.
So yeah, I said not gay. I said I don't know any wrestlers. That's a fact. And then he said, have you stroked any bald pets?
Any bald pets?
Bald. He said, have you stroked anything with hair missing? Bald.
Just yourself.
And I said, I can't remember. And I couldn't be bothered.
Sorry, were these all euphemisms? Like wrestlers get it. Wink. Do they? Yeah. You stroked the little bald hairless thing. No, doctor. Okay, gay people get it. Look, are you gay? Are you gay? I'm gay. I want to stroke someone bald.
So I didn't want to get into the bear suit thing because then he'd be thinking, what's he doing?
No, you've got it.
So wait. So he had a list of reasons. He's reading this off a list, was he?
No, he did it from his head. He knew it already. He didn't have to look at a form or anything. He went ringworm. He's obviously had a few people in there who have had it, and they've gone ringworm. That's a bit weird. Where have I got that from? And he knew straight away.
So it's 3 people in there with ringworm. One of them was a wrestler. One of them had a shaved dog. And one of them was a homosexualist.
Yeah, and that's why he's like, oh, they get it.
Is this the same doctor who
told me that my nerves were too short for my body?
Yeah.
Different fella.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
So yeah, ringworm I got from my time in Boston.
Well, that was a heck of a story. I'm beginning to wonder if the reason Suzanne didn't go with you on that trip was not to do with work obligations.
Sorry, Pod, you've downloaded it, maybe?
Doctor.
It's a test transmission.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a test transmission. Testing.
Hmm.
If you're hearing this, then it's working.
Who are you?
I'm Ricky Gervais. Who are you?
Steve Merchant.
Who's that little bald-headed mank twat chimp over there?
It's me, innit?
Yeah, well, we need your name, don't we? Carl. Telling you, I was talking to you earlier about going to Vietnam, and I'm not good. I mean, although I like to travel, as you know, I like to go to exotic places. This is going to come as a surprise to you, Rick, but I do look very English when I'm abroad. I'm 6'7". I'm quite pasty and white, and I find it very hard to blend in with, say, Vietnamese people.
Sure.
But this time I thought I'd embrace this, and I've brought you something as to show you. It's not really going to be very helpful on the NME radio, but I decided to wear a hat. I thought I'd buy a hat and wear a hat. And I thought that I bought this last minute as I was just before I got on the plane. I was doing some shopping. I thought I need to, because you think
it'd be something like from a Graham Greene novel,
right? Exactly.
They'd go, they call him the Englishman.
Exactly.
He's the wisest, and exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, because you can kind of reinvent yourself when you're abroad in some way, can't you?
Yeah.
And so this is the hat I got.
Christ.
Maybe you should look away for a second. I'll put it on, and then you can.
Now,
bear in mind, it is a bit battered because it's been in bags and stuff.
Sure. Steve, what are you thinking? Right.
No, it is a bit battered and damaged, I admit.
Okay, how can I... right, it looks like a cross between something Miss Marple would wear.
That's nonsense.
No, it does. It looks a bit like that. And there's a beer with a bloke drinking... What's that called? Moretti beer?
I think you're thinking of the Hofmeister bear.
No, I'm not. It looks like Miss Marple's hat.
It doesn't look like Miss Marple's hat. It's kind of moddy, isn't it?
It's not. It's a tweed thing that comes down that an old lady would wear.
Tweed.
It was a librarian lady would wear in the 1930s.
It's not tweed.
I have never seen it. That you didn't really buy that, did you, to wear?
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Right. Can I take a picture of this and I'll put it on my website? Right, I am now taping this on a camcorder. I will put this up on rickygervais.com.
I disagree. I think this genuinely looks good. I think it makes me look a bit like, say, Tom Waits or Farmer Barlow. The point is this, right? I'm wearing the hat, I'm looking good, okay? But people, obviously, they can sense that I'm a moneyed tourist. They can see how good I look, and they know I've got a little bit of money in my pocket, I can afford to buy hats, and everything. So obviously I'm always a target for people trying to get money from me, stuff like that, which is always a hassle, isn't it? And I find it very difficult tipping when I'm abroad. I don't really understand what the rules are with tipping, and that's a big anxiety for me. And also I have problems with the conversion, because obviously when you go abroad. So the Vietnamese dong. Come on, there's nothing funny about that. That's just what it's called, right? For $63 you can get 1 million dong, right? That's a lot of dong. So I'm packing like
a huge dong.
I got 2 million dong, in me money belt under my shirt. Right?
Yeah, so look at this image, right? You were wearing that hat and a bum bag.
Yes, but I don't have a bum bag. I have a money belt that I wear underneath the t-shirt.
Right.
So as not to see, so people don't think I've got any money on me. And if I get mugged, I can just go, I haven't got any money on me. Because they would never think to look underneath the shirt and see the money belt, right?
Well, that's still out of reach, isn't it, over there?
And they are actually looking up your t-shirt.
Well, it's funny you should say that, right? Because I went to a market at one point just to look at the things that were for sale there. There's lots of eels and lots of fish, lots of other interesting items, right? So I'm looking at the market, I'm taking some photos, and I noticed this, I hear this kind of murmur, right, that's going around the market, and then I start to see them, all the people in the market, sort of pointing, right, and staring and talking at something, right? So I'm looking around, trying to figure out what it is, right? And I realise they're looking and pointing at me. I genuinely swear to God, right? So they start, and then...
Did they think one of the big eels had escaped?
Well, they started laughing.
Oh no.
They started openly pointing and laughing.
Of course they did.
One of them, right, started, like, I think he was a postman. He looked like he might be a Vietnamese postman. I don't know why that should make any difference, but he started doing a sort of lumbering, sort of Frankenstein walk and pointing at me, right? A whole section of them just started cackling with laughter. And then at one point, a woman in one of those sort of Vietnamese lampshade hats, right, she runs up behind me and she attaches to my back a sort of kick me thing that you would have attached to some nerd at school's back, right? She actually put something like that on my back. I don't realise initially, so they're just chortling. They are weeping by now, and I'm talking like the whole market is in hysterics. And old ladies are coming up to me and just, you know, comparing their heights and then giggling. And then I'm sort of trying to get this thing off my back so I look like a dog, you know, chasing its tail. And I just realised that this entire marketplace was just openly laughing at me. And what angered me, Rick, was that I've spent a lot of time in this country, in the UK, right, building up a career, right, so that people don't laugh at me, right? They respect me, they see me as a man of great accomplishments and achievements. Yeah. I go to another country where I...
With that hat...
Exactly.
Walking around with those glasses with a little money belt on, maybe sandals with socks because I got a foot infection. And it turns out that they're just laughing at me, just openly mocking and laughing at me, right? So I just genuinely, I got upset and I got You threw down your cagoule, left your clogs behind, and got on the first plane back.
I hopped in a rickshaw straight back to the hotel where they do not laugh at me openly. But anyway, just to return to the dong issue, right, this was what worried me, was that obviously you got a tip, so we had a driver for a few days, right, and you got to leave him a tip, and I never feel a bit awkward, when do you give him the tip and everything, how does it work? And so I didn't know how much it should be, and I was thinking, well, you know, it's a poor country, I've had a driver a couple of days, you know, I haven't paid for the driver, so I give him like $20, right, which is like 10 quid, you know, I'm thinking that seems like a good tip. I get in there, I read in the guidebook, I should have only given him $2. I gave him 20. Well, right. Now because A, you don't want to upset the precious equilibrium. You don't want to upset the financial equilibrium because he might have gone berserk. Yeah. That's $20 is a lot to him. He might have left his family, you know, bought a different, you know, corrugated iron shack somewhere else.
What if he turned up with a hat like yours and said,
exactly, we're mates now, aren't we?
We're mates now. Let's go back to England.
Let's pick up some ladies. So I was a bit worried, so I was thinking of asking for the money, you know, for some change, but I didn't think that was appropriate. So, but then I was worried because then I was thinking, what if all the other drivers within his organisation find out that I've given him like $20? They're all going to be expecting a big tip. Yeah. So that was a big worry. But more than that, we'd also had a guide with us, so he was bound to find out how that thing is. Right now, I didn't have any dollars left, and I thought, well, I've given that guy 20. I got to give the guide who's been talking English to us, showing us around, helping us out. I got to give him 50. Even more. Right, I ended up giving him $1 million dong.
And how much is that?
$63. I tipped someone $1 million.
So he's a millionaire now.
Yeah, I made someone a millionaire through my generosity.
Well, so did I. He's sitting over there. That's absolutely. He doesn't want to give anything back. So I know how you feel, mate.
Poor Carl. No, it's not fair.
Look at my life.
Neil Young, old man. Carl. Now, you know, traditionally at the zoo they have to dart a dangerous animal, a lion or a gorilla or whatever.
What?
They have to dart it.
Oh yeah.
Right, to take blood samples and check its health and stuff. So it's very stressful for the animal and quite dangerous to give it an anaesthetic like that. So what they've started doing now, there's a bug, right, like a type of beetle, and it's a bloodsucker. It's a little vampire bug. Okay, it's about 3 centimetres long. What they do is they tie a piece of string around it. They let it go into the cage on the chimp. It sucks the chimp's blood without the chimp even knowing. They pull it back, and they take the blood sample from it.
They've taught it to do that.
Well, they're not taught it to do anything.
No, they just do it.
That's its nature. You put it near a warm-blooded mammal, it will suck its blood. So they've just tied a string to it so they can get it back.
And how often does it have to do that a day?
Well, I don't know. Why are these the important questions?
Just because
Isn't that incredible that they've got this amazing symbiotic relationship with a bug? Because that's
is it the same one? Safety's 8 chimps.
Oh, jeez, Carl, listen to me.
No, let him. I want to.
I'm just
Carl
saying, if
is
there's 8 chimps in
committed to
there,
not talking about the main thing.
one beetle.
Yeah.
By about number 5, that's going to be sick of eating.
Well, then they probably have different beetles, and they let it. And Carl, I don't know why this is the.
I'll tell you why it annoys
the
me.
avenue
Because
of questioning.
It annoys him.
the other concern is that beetle. It might be enjoying, getting the blood and what have you. What happens if one of them's got AIDS?
What, one of the
chimps? That's where it came from. So safety's.
Well, then they know, and they say, "Oh, this chimp's got AIDS. Let's."
And what about the beetle?
What, are you saying? You're worried that the beetle will contract AIDS?
Well, I don't know if that's how it works, but all I'm saying is, you get a dirty chimp in there. It's got a touch of that, and the beetle gets it. And all I'm saying is, it seems a bit unfair.
What are you worried about the beetle? Working hard. It's eating what
Because
it likes.
this is the same as getting in foreigners to make cheap trainers. To me, they let the beetle do what it wants. I mean, how long do they live? I read the other day about some elephant beetle. They get about 4 months.
Right.
What do you think of this? Right, this elephant beetle in the paper the other day.
Yeah.
About the size of a gerbil.
Right.
Massive. Odd-looking thing. The bigger, the uglier it is.
Why are you looking at me?
No. In a way, that is the way it works, isn't it? I think size is a big deal, isn't it? In a way, because
This is interesting.
well, we better being smaller, aren't we?
Well, it depends.
What do you mean?
Well, no, if you're afloat in the Atlantic Ocean and it's 4 degrees centigrade, it'd be better to be fat.
I didn't really mean like that. I just meant in terms of, like, Steve, I've mentioned he's taller than us.
Yeah.
He's always ill.
Well, that's nothing to do with his height.
I just think bigger people, it's like that Zhang Lung or whatever, the world's tallest man. He's always sneezing and that. He's always got something up with him because he's not meant to be that big. Small fellas, you never see a midget in a doctor's waiting room. They never get ill, do they? You never see one getting run over because they're too small, so you don't hit them. So it's. I think size. If you're too big,
You never see a midget in a doctor's waiting room.
so the
well,
thing,
maybe they're there.
no, they're not. So what I'm
they're
saying
not,
to you is this
okay,
beetle that's
they don't
massive,
get
size of a
sick ever.
gerbil.
Yeah, but it's still.
is
But
cool.
a gerbil's small. What do you mean?
No, this is a big one.
This beetle is massive. It lives 4 months.
Lives 4 months, been found in a banana crate. Right.
Right.
It's over here. They're upset for it because it's been in this banana crate for, it could be like 3 months. And the whole purpose of the elephant beetle is to have it away. That's all it wants in its life. It's only got 4 months and it loves having it away with another beetle. And it hasn't had it. So they found it in this crate and it looked distraught. They said it was showing all signs of, like, desperately wanting to have it away. It was
Well, when you can wank yourself to death with 6 legs, you leave anything alone for 3 months in a dark crate.
Just eating a load of bananas.
Yeah, eating bananas and whacking away
well, anyway.
6 times at exactly the same moment.
Its feet go, apparently.
I bet it does.
What do you mean its feet go?
That's a sign. When they got it out, they were they got the experts in. They said, "What is this? We've got a beetle here the size of a gerbil." They said, "We'll come round." They had a look.
I'd say, well, how big's the gerbil?
That's just scientists HQ. There's their hotline. You can phone
come
up.
round. Right, you'll need a gerbil-sized box to bring that round in. Come round. Ring operator. Can I have people in charge of giant gerbil beetles? I'll put you through. Hello, gerbil beetle people. I think I've got one. Come round.
Anyway, its feet were going.
What do you mean his feet were going? Do you mean it was dancing like Lionel Blair, or it had bunions?
I haven't seen one, but
There's a surprise.
I just read that that they were saying, yeah, we know what's the problem here. Look at its legs go, and they go up and down a lot, and it means that it wants like a partner, dying for it. And they were saying they only live 4 months, and it looks about 3.5 months old. This one.
Tell that.
The problem is they haven't got any of these beetles here,
Right.
so they've had to, instead of flying it back out,
Yeah.
they've gone over there to try and find one to bring it back because of the stress and that it's had, and it's older.
Couldn't you put a gerbil in a beetle outfit?
Hang on a minute.
I don't mean a little wig holding a guitar.
But I don't know the full story in that. I just know that they found this beetle.
It just sounds unlikely that people would be this concerned about
I
one
agree.
beetle, and it's only got half a month left. It's got 2 weeks left. It's got to have some sex. We have got to give this beetle some sex because, god damn it, it's a beetle. What was found on a boat with some bananas?
I
It
don't know
deserves
why-
sex before it dies.
I don't know why he cares more than a blood-sucking beetle than a chimpanzee.
I just can't
suddenly.
believe people are flying out to Japan or
Why
wherever
do
they
you
come
care
from.
so much about beetles all of a sudden?
Only because they were mentioned, and I just thought, whilst we're on the beetle tip, let's discuss them.
What do you mean his legs were going as well?
That's what they do. That shows signs of like it needs a woman.
A woman.
It's never had one
Yeah.
before, which is weird. That's what I was going to say.
on.
It knew even though it didn't. And you're talking about my brain and my ears and all that. There's an example of
Go
how
on.
the beetle's not in charge. There's something else going on in its
Well, it's
body.
called instinct.
Yeah.
But that's true in a beetle, but it shouldn't be true in a human being.
But it is though, isn't it? Otherwise, how did the first baby
It
survive?
can be in a
How
human being.
are
Instincts.
we here now? Because you look at babies and they're spoilt rotten. I'm sick of it the way they don't do anything for ages. They wouldn't survive. A kangaroo comes out, it's hopping around in about 2 hours. Babies, they sit there for months.
So there's a very good reason for that. I've told you that.
It needs its mother. If
Yeah.
that was in a banana crate, it would have given up after about a week. What
No,
I'm
a
saying
couple
is,
of days. It would have died in a couple of days, probably.
yeah. Whereas this beetle, he didn't know the outcome. He didn't know if he's ever going to see this partner. Yet, even though he's been in this crate with bananas for 3.5 months, it still wants to have it away. Now, if I was that, I'd be like, I'm not in the mood anyway.
Why do you equate yourself with the beetle? This is what I don't understand.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying how that's where nature's good, and I think the beetles are better than us in a way.
We have got our brain, we've got our creativity, we've got our cognition, we've got all those things. That's our forte. That's where we kick in. Thought, introspection, art. I agree. Well, I could not live in a crate full of bananas for 2.5. I admit that. I admit that if my mum had given birth to me and then dropped me immediately in a bin, I wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
But I don't see your point. And I understand that Beatles can do that, and I can't. But do you know what? The Beatles, they couldn't have written and directed The Office. So let's call it even.
Hey, all this talk of the Beatles, right, has suggested to me, let's have some more music. Here's the Rolling Stones.
Oh,
Nice.
doesn't work. Well, that's about it. This is the test transmission for the NME radio.
Oh.
I've enjoyed it. I think Steve's had a blast. He's got his hat on.
Yeah, I'm as happy as Larry, mate. Just pleased that I've done it all for free.
Yeah.
Whereas Carl will be cashing a sweet check.
I know. It looked like looking after number one after all we've done for him.
I didn't even realise there was an opportunity to ask for money because
No.
I understood it to be a favour, so it didn't even
Yeah.
occur to me to get my agent.
Always ask. Always ask.
No, because I'm doing it as a favour. If you said to me, "Can you come
Do you
round and
know-
help me move house?" I would do it. I would not presume you were going to pay me for it.
Debt of gratitude. See, one day maybe I'll need the NME. One day I'll call up the NME, just like you call up scientists and go, I've got a beetle the size of a gerbil. They say, come round. I might call them up and I go, oh, what's the drummer from Dodgy doing? They go, come round.
But where does that debt of gratitude stop then? Because at what point do you say, well, I'll have some money, please? When I get a bill from British
Yeah,
Gas,
yeah.
what will I do then? Will I just say redirect this to NME? Because that little debt of gratitude. Sammy Jacobs, the fellow who runs NME Radio, send the bill to him, please, British Gas, because he'll sort me out. No, he'll go, what are you talking about? That's not my bill. Sort it out yourself. And that's what I'm saying. The world moves on money. I make money to pay the bills. It's not for me. Sometimes I never see it. Doesn't even touch my hands. It goes in the bank, out the other way. Doesn't even stop. There's always people taking money off me for this, that, and the other. And I'm not moaning about that. But all I'm saying is, that's
well, I know this and that costs you money, but why are you paying for the other?
business, innit? Alan Sugar he'd say you're mad, you two. He'd say you're stupid. What are you working for free? What is this? Charity? Well, it isn't. He'd sack you two. He'd say, Carl, you're hired.
I would love to see you
Yeah, well-
on The Apprentice. What would Carl be like on The Apprentice?
Wow, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Well, firstly, he's not a team player. We've
He's
already
not a
established
team player.
that.
No,
Depends who the
he'd
team
just go
is.
out getting his own money and say and not share it with anyone. So that's
Joking.
number one.
Joking, aren't you?
That's number one.
Mm.
2, you wouldn't want to do it. You'd say, well, why am I doing it? For that, I've got bills to pay.
Do what?
Well, exactly. Whatever he asked you to do.
No, it's a task, isn't it? And I wouldn't go on there.
Well,
anyway.
treat this is like a task.
Well, okay, here's a task right now. Last night on The Apprentice, they were doing interviews.
Oh, don't tell me anything because I don't know who's in it.
No, I won't. All I'll say is that one of the interviewers says, and it's an old interviewing trick when you're working in business. They say, "I've got a lovely luxury pen here, right? Here's a classic old Bic biro, right? Now you've got to sell that to me now, right? Sell it to me now. How would you sell it to me, right?
So this is a pen shop?
No. No, it's a test, right? To see how well you can sell something, okay?
Yeah, but
doesn't matter what it is. In this instance, it's a cheap pen, right?
No, but
Sell it to me. Tell me the virtues of that pen.
But
Go.
have you come to me or have I come to you?
No, what do you mean?
You're selling me that
It's
pen.
a task. You've got to show us how you would sell a pen to us. What's
no,
good
but
about?
it's different.
Okay, tell me what's good about that
Right,
pen.
go. Sell me the pen. You're on my door, right? You're a pen seller.
So I've knocked on
You've
your
knocked
door.
on my door.
Yeah.
You're selling me a
Wolf
pen.
of Wall
Go.
Street.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm not interested. What you
You don't know what I'm selling yet.
Okay,
Okay,
well, what are you
don't
selling?
get nasty.
I'm not getting nasty. I'm just saying, do you like to write much? Do you do much
Yeah, I
writing?
do some writing. Yeah,
Do
I'm
you?
a writer, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Interesting. How do you do that?
Computer,
What, you said
innit?
we're a processor, yeah,
Yeah.
computer.
Oh.
Thanks very much, goodbye.
No, but hang on a minute. Just, do you ever use a pen?
Sometimes I use pens, yeah, but I got loads of pens, thanks. I got a really nice pen here, beautiful, classic.
Looks
like an
expensive fountain.
It's an expensive fountain pen, my grandfather gave it to me. It's
Oh, that
family
one.
owned.
So that's quite a special pen. It
It's a
sounds
special
like.
pen.
I mean, it is a lovely pen and everything. But the problem is, when you go out and about, there's a danger that you could lose that.
That is very true, but I mean, I don't really take pens
Have you
when
seen
I go out
these,
and
sir?
about.
Can I interest you in
Just
some
looks
of
like a
these, sir?
cheap, tatty old pen, mate.
Sometimes you just want a pen that does the job, and this pen does that job. Do you want to buy some?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Well, because I've just told you, I've got a great pen. I've got a great pen already, and I don't see why I need that pen. It's cheap and it's tacky and
Well,
it's
you're
no
saying
use
it's
to me.
cheap. Do you know how cheap?
How cheap is it?
Well, it depends how many you want.
Well,
Huh?
let's just say, for the sake of argument, I want 50 of them.
Yeah, I can do that.
What kind of
How
deal would
much?
you do for me?
£8.
£8 for 50 of those pens. I can get them for about a penny down the market.
Sorry, Carl. You're selling 50 pens for £8. How much do they cost you? Just want to make sure this is a good business venture for you. Otherwise, it's pointless. How much do they cost you to buy?
I got them really cheap.
But how much?
How much did I say you can have them for?
£8 for 50.
I paid £5 for 50. So
Really? Wait, this is. I'll have. Can I have them for £5 because I'm a mate?
You can have 25 for 50.
No, well, no. If you got 50 pens for £5,
I
can
wouldn't do this as a living. Anyway, that's the thing.
Carl,
No.
can you get me 50 pens for a £5 then?
50 pence for £5.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, mate.
Well, no, I'm a mate. Just you don't want to make a profit out of me, do you?
It's not worth it. I'm trying to run a business there. I've got bills to pay.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to write something. I'm going to close the door in your face.
No, mate, you don't want a pen.
No.
Fine. Sometimes you've got to know when to cut off and move on. And
So that's what
I
you'd
do.
say to Sir Alan, is that you always give up? When someone says no, you give up.
I'll say I met him. He just wasn't having it, Sir Alan. So he didn't want any pens. If you don't want any pens, you're not going to buy them.
But you're a salesman, you've got to persuade me that I need a pen. Everyone needs pens.
But what are you saying about the other fellow that came out of well, just lurking behind him, that came out of the shower, and I went, oh, I'll have 50 pens for a £5. What did you say to him? He said, not interested.
Yeah, because it all got a bit dodgy. I don't know who this person was and that, and he just wanted him at the going rate. What sort of a businessman would it be for me to have got the pens for £50, 50 pens for how much?
You're fired.
Stick it up your ass.
Well, I've enjoyed it, I must say. I've been Ricky Gervais, with me Stephen Merchant
Goodbye.
and Karl Pilkington. If you've enjoyed this drivel as much as me, which is unlikely, because I mean I like being in a room with no offence to you, Steve, but with a couple of freaks. None taken.
Sure, thanks.
If you have, we've got a little back catalogue, haven't we, Carl? We've done about 24 of these.
Loads of them.
You can go to iTunes on a little audio book. Good value for money, isn't it? It's a couple of quid for hours of entertainment.
I tell you as well, if you love great music and as I say, informative chit chat, then Six Music is your destination. BBC Six Music, and check that out. Every
Carl,
Sunday
anything
afternoon.
to plug?
Well, if you don't want to listen to the radio and you haven't got iTunes, go back to basics. Read a book.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, but it will be.
Well, how are they going to read it then if it's not out yet?
Just saying it will.
Well,
come
I'm
out.
saying they
What's
can
the
go to
name?
iTunes now and get the back catalogue, and they can go to Six Music this Sunday. So I don't know why you're saying
Well,
you might do a book. Well,
after that, after they've done all that, in a couple of months. Just nip down to a
I'm not
bookshop.
waiting a couple of months. What if they need to have it away?
Busy guy.
Like the Beatle. You wouldn't say to the Beatle, "Oh, it's all right.
All right, well, there's another book out there as well that I did last year.
There you go.
I presume as well, is the NME radio going to be on at some point?
Just check the NME for details.
Yeah, or maybe go on its website.
NME.com?
Probably.
Probably. Yeah, okay. Okay, we're done. I mean, this was a good one. This was a really good one, actually. I mean, that's felt like they really got Karl to be lively for this one. But here's the thing. Now, Karl is right. Karl is right. I understand. He said, "Oh, I did all of this for you," but you gotta remember, okay, Steve wanted a career, so he went to Ricky. Ricky helped him. So he gets to do him this favor back. Karl never went to anyone. Karl never asked for any of this. Karl just wanted to do the sound on the radio and go home. It was Ricky and Steve who insisted, "Come on the radio, come talk. We'll put you in a room, do the Rockbusters, do the quizzes, give us the monkey news." I mean, they pushed him, so it's unfair for Ricky to say, "Well, like you should have done it this as like a favor because of all the things." Yeah, but he never asked for those things. He also made a very good point about Karl actually beat him on this one because he said like at what point do I stop giving you favors? Like that's it, So and also, I mean, Ricky can't talk, okay, about that. After the physical abuse that he gave Karl on XFM, he can't do that. It's like, it's not the favor that you've given him. It's Karl giving you the favor by just letting you do all these things and humiliating him in front of the world, verbally and physically. God, this is the man that Ricky put a juicy pear on his head and then said, "I didn't know it was juicy," and the juice would run down all over your face. And then one time I think he balanced like a trash can on his head. He stapled something to his head. I mean, come on. The wrestling, the head rubbing, come on. Come on. Like, Ricky can't even bring this up as a topic. No way, no. You're not the one who did him the favor. He's the one who let you get away with a lot of stuff. NME, before I started this, I was like, I don't know what NME is. Then when they mentioned it about music, I remember NME. I've read this website more than once, but here's the thing. I've never read anything in NME that isn't about Liam Gallagher or Noel Gallagher, ever. Every article I can think of is Liam, Noel, Liam, Noel, Liam, Noel. That's all I remember from NME. So presumably it's the same back then. I don't know. I mean, those are the only topics in the music industry. I don't know. I mean, this was a good one actually. I'm glad you guys recommended this one. Because I wasn't really sure if I was gonna do the one-offs, the specials. But I'm seeing, there's some great content there. I mean, Karl said it's one of the best lines ever. He said something like, "Slow this, don't." What's it? They I can't even say it. He said something about sloths and replenishing. Damn amazing. And the thing he said about the instincts, about the it's impressive how dedicated he is to not addressing the main issue when they discuss anything. Whatever you give him, the big picture, he immediately just, okay, I'm not looking at the big picture on purpose. He doesn't want to look at the big picture. He's like, okay, let me see if there's a small picture here. Okay, that's the smallest picture there. Let me talk about that. It's like he zones in on the one thing that no one should be talking about. Amazing. Anyway. Yes. I should be used to Karl by now, but I'm not, to be honest. Because I'm still discovering there's more and more content. He never ceases to surprise you. Anyway, that's it for now.